What's the word, Bird?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sipping with the Simpkins. For those of you who have already liked, subscribed, and shared, thank you. And for those who have not, please do so. It is greatly appreciated.
Definitely appreciate you all.
Also, those who have texted or called and given some feedback and told us what you like or that you enjoy it, also certainly appreciate you.
Welcome to another episode. I'm Ray. It's my wife.
And I am, of course, your girl, Michael. Today's episode is faith, gratitude, and grounding practices, staying spiritually and emotionally centered. The sun's in my face, which is a good thing. No complaints. I'm glad to have some sun. I think it's like 50 degrees outside. It's February. So I'm grateful.
The temperature can only go up from here, right? Hopefully.
Well,
Hopefully.
I think we're going to get a couple days, but we'll take it. Gratitude.
Gratitude.
You ready?
I'm ready. What are you sipping on? What are we sipping on?
Question number 1. How has our faith or gratitude practice evolved?
I think we're more conscious about gratitude. And I think as we've gotten older, we've gotten more spiritual, I would say, which means we started really tapping into taking time to meditate and show gratitude. And it's having the right mental clarity. And that's what I think, just off the top of the head. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that in the early years, just foundationally, religion was sort of this following that we did because it was tradition. That's what we did. That's what we were taught.
Right.
And I think as we got older, and so I also think in our earlier years, it was a lot of prayer and going to church, like these practices that just was this idea of this is how you have this eternal life, right? And so there was this effort to try and follow that practice. And then also prayer, how it's changed. Prayer early on was rather focused on things like almost begging in a way of things, begging for protection, begging for guidance, begging to have our bills met, more money, ability to do certain things. And I think as time has gone on, it's shifted to more of a gratitude thing where it's from rather asking for things, being thankful for those things, and giving thanks to the Creator for the things that we have.
I think the older we've gotten, we've come closer to God for ourselves. At least I have. When you're growing up and you go to church and you're following these traditions that you speak about, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like the introduction to faith, spirituality, God, the religion, whatever that religion is that you're following, right?
Yeah, by no means nothing
right.
wrong
But I mean,
with it.
right. But as you get older, I feel like you got to be able to know God for yourself, which means a lot of that comes during the week when there is no church. You know what I mean? It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday now. Some of you got Tuesday, Thursday rehearsals, Wednesday Bible studies. So you're at the church a couple times a week. But when you're by yourself and you're not at the church, that's where you have to know God for yourself. That's where you have to be able to speak to God. That's where you're going to find some answers and some comfort from God. Like, I feel like that spirituality part of knowing who God is for yourself comes outside of any sort of religion. Like, you have to know the Creator for yourself, period. And I think that has been a journey for both of us. And I feel like we've gotten closer to know who God is and how to speak to God and manifest what we want and do some of the stuff that we need to do internally and mentally with our own spirit. And so that's come as we've gotten older.
But I think it's very different from the traditional religious practices of where I started to where I am, and even my beliefs. So yes, while my relationship has definitely, I don't want to say necessarily evolved, but maybe in some ways it has evolved. It's just changed because I don't see things and view things the same way that I
Mhm.
once did based off of some of the traditional teachings and practices that I thought I understood. Like my understanding of that has expanded. And so I just move a little bit differently. I think differently. I see things differently. And
But
I
that's growth, though.
I
You're supposed to
act
evolve like that,
accordingly. So yeah, I definitely think there's certainly been some evolution and there continues to be. And
for sure.
I'm excited for that. I struggle with myself for some of those traditional practices and beliefs and where I am today. And so it is this push and pull because for me with religion, it was this fear tactic. If you don't do X, Y, Z, then this is your fate. Or without doing XYZ, then
Hmm.
this. And so I struggle with that even to this day. But I would say that our evolution, or at least for myself, has shifted from some of the traditional religious practices and asking and begging continually, for lack of a better word, to more gratitude. How do we stay grounded when life feels uncertain?
I feel like, at least again, some of these questions, I feel like I need to speak for myself.
Certainly.
How do I stay grounded when life is uncertain? And we all know that it's an uncertain time right now, just in the world and our government. And we're in this age of truth, and a lot of things are coming out, and it's real wild. I think for the most part, there was a scripture that, or a saying, God wouldn't put more on you than you can handle. So I constantly pray about mental clarity, even though the world around me is chaotic. I try to pray for discernment and be able to understand what I need to do in life and stay focused on the things that I want to accomplish and where I want to position our family and my health and all of the stuff, right? I think you got to be able to lock in when the world around you is going crazy. And a lot of times I listen to some spiritual stuff when I'm working out, and it's helping me lock in. So that's how I stay grounded and focused on what I need to do, even though I see stuff around me. And then watching on, every time you turn on the TV, there's chaos going on, and you see it, you recognize it, but you got to stay the course. You got to know who you are, and you got to have a relationship with the creator. And that's how I stay focused.
Yeah. So for me, I stay grounded by, I think it goes back to the first question. I focus on gratitude, all of the things that I don't have. And instead of asking for, obviously, like I say, I'm thankful for having peace. I'm thankful for having protection. I'm thankful for the guidance and the clarity. So instead of saying, give me this, I try to move and operate as if it already exists. And even when I see it around me, which I try to tune out of all of the noise, sometimes I'll tap in few times a week just so that I'm aware, but I don't overindulge myself in it because it can be overwhelming for me and stressful for me because there is so many things going on. So I'm reading books helps, meditation helps, operating in gratitude helps, and then one of my like leisurely favorite things to do, which he just hates and does not understand. I'm a reality ratchet TV watcher, and it just, I don't know, like that's just my peaceful place. Like it can get a little chaotic, but I'm like, it's TV, like it's not real, it's just entertainment. And then there's other pieces of it that are just inspirational for me because I watch shows where people are traveling, which is one of the favorite things that I enjoy doing. So, it's my way of sort of manifesting this life and this journey that I want to do by watching other people do some of the things that I enjoy doing. So that's how I stay grounded. What do you think anchored us most in the years of change?
I'll let you answer this one first.
I would certainly say our son. And that's probably just my perspective, but I think he is what has anchored us most because it's always been my he's my purpose. Since he was born, he has just been my everything. And I knew as soon as we knew that we were going to have a baby that I had to sacrifice everything for him, and that I wouldn't have him experience the things that I experienced as a youth. And then also, I didn't want this young Black man to be in a single parent household. And so he's always anchored in me that by all means necessary, you and I got to figure this shit out one way or another.
Mom, she back cussing again. Oh boy.
Mom, if you haven't seen the last episode, you should check it out because I did really well and I caught myself, and that one just slipped and I didn't even think about it. But that was a tiny word.
But listen, I get it.
That was a tiny word.
I get it.
I think that's he's what's grounded me, and I think he's what really has anchored us, if I'm being honest.
No, I would agree. I would agree with that. And also too, so much of who he's become or striving to become or how he's raised up, you know, that's on us to help bring in some of those, whether it's traditional ways, you know, a person should come up in the world or how they should act in different things. That was on us to try to teach that at an early age. And so that has been a lot of focus to make sure that when he's completely on his own, he can survive out here and he stays out of trouble and he's productive and then lives a long, healthy life. Like those are the things that I think about. So you're right. I would agree with that one.
That he's what anchored us. Because otherwise, because there's been some times and there's been some shit that happened that we could have been like,
right.
But we were like family.
Right.
Family.
But that's marriage.
Family.
You know, a lot of people out there, I'm sure, can say the same thing about marriage.
Of course.
Right? You've been married long enough.
A lot of people let their marriages dissolve. Like
you're right.
You know, like a lot of marriages dissolve for that very reason.
Right.
Like if it's just about you and I, like sometimes that shit just ain't worth, you know, trying to hang in there. But when you have another reason and you have another purpose that may be equally or more important than you or what you're feeling or that emotion that you're having in that moment, that day, or whatever that,
you're right.
When that's your focus, everything kind of shifts. And I think really, at least for me, that's what has kept me anchored. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you, Ray Ray.
That's all you got?
Up top. Came back to the seat.
So listen, folks, as we move into the next season, your boy's going to be the one answering the questions. I'm going to get my...
He's going to get the whole series together.
I'll be the moderator here.
Yes.
Get it going.
Get the questions. So he won't be surprised by anything. He's going to know. So he's going to take over the show.
That's right.
For the next...
And she won't know the questions, so she'll
chapter.
have to...
Right.
Do her freestyle.
Let's see what this is like.
But we appreciate y'all tuning in.
Yes.
Again, share, subscribe.
Talk to us in the comments. Pick it up, you guys. I need you to share it. I need to pick this up. So help me out with that. If you like it, you love it, like just if you want to talk to me, chit chat, I'm happy to engage. Give me some feedback. But that does it for another episode of Sipping with the Simpkins. Peace.
Peace.